Australia has taken a bold and unexpected step that is now being discussed across the world. While many governments are still debating how to protect children online, Australia has moved ahead and enforced one of the strictest rules the internet has ever seen. And this isn't just a guideline or recommendation, it's a national law. From December 10, any Australian under the age of 16 will no longer be allowed to access the social media platform. Not restricted, not parental supervision only, but a complete ban. Australia is officially the first country to introduce such a sweeping rule. Today, let's break down what this ban actually means, why the government decided to go this far, how tech companies are responding, and whether this move could change the future of online safety across the world. What exactly is happening in Australia? A law passed earlier is now going into full effect, and it aims to push children under 16 completely off mainstream social media platform. That includes nearly every major app we use today: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, X, YouTube, Reddit, Threads, Twitch, and Kick. Under this law, kids below 16 cannot open new accounts. Existing accounts belonging to underage users will be shut down. Platform must stop minors from signing up. Companies must actively prevent them from using their services. Australia is not relying on parents or schools to enforce this. The entire burden falls on the social media companies. If they fail to do this, they could face a penalty that go up to 32 million US dollars. This is not a small warning. It's a massive financial threat that will force the platform to comply. Interestingly, a few platforms are excluded from this ban, including WhatsApp, Pinterest, and why? The government says these apps don't operate like typical social networks. They don't run popular public feeds, and they don't push algorithm-driven content into users' timeline. In simple words, they aren't considered high risk in the same way Instagram or TikTok are. Why did Australia take such a strong action? To understand the decision, you have to look at the numbers, and those numbers are worrying. In Australia, 96% of children aged 10 to 15 are already active on social media. Let that sink in. Almost every child in that age group is online, and what they experience there isn't always safe. Government research shows 7 out of 10 children have come across harmful or disturbing content. More than half have been victims of cyberbullying. Many have been exposed to posts promoting self-harm. Others have seen extreme dieting content, violent acts, or graphic images. For the Australian government, this is not just a technology issue. No, sir. They frame it as a public safety and mental health crisis. Officials have said that allowing children to such a deep access to algorithm-driven social media exposes them to experiences they are not emotionally equipped to handle. And so, Australia believes the solution is clear: keep children away from these environments entirely. Whether this approach will work is another question, but the intention is to protect young people from the harm. How social media companies enforce this? Now this is where things get interesting. For years, social media platforms have relied on simple sign-up forms. You enter your name, email, and birth date, and that's it. But Australia says that's no longer acceptable. Platform must now use age assurance technologies to confirm whether someone is actually old enough to be online. This can include facial age estimation, video selfies, government ID checks, artificial intelligence that guesses a user's age from behavior and interaction. All this sounds advanced, but experts warn that none of these systems are perfect. Some underage users may still get through, and adults might be wrongly blocked. There are also privacy concerns. People are worried about how much data these companies will collect and where it will be stored. Social media companies themselves have raised objections too. They argue that a ban might not fully solve the problem, enforcement will be technically difficult, the privacy risks are high, and they could lose millions of users. Some platforms even explored legal challenges against the law initially, but in the end, they must follow it. Meta, for example, have already started identifying suspicious accounts. They will begin removing underage users from December 4. Other companies are also preparing to enforce the rules, but none of them are thrilled about it. Now the question here is, can children bypass the ban? Now let's be realistic. Whenever strict rules are introduced like this, children often find ways around them. Experts says there are several possible loopholes. Kids could use VPNs, they could use their parents' IDs, they might borrow older siblings' account, they could move to less regulated platforms. This is why some analysts criticize the ban. They argue that banning children from popular platforms might push them towards more dangerous corners of internet where there are no filters, no moderators and no safety guidelines. In other words, the ban might unintentionally increase the risk. But supporters of the law say it is better to fight the problem than ignoring it. They believe that even if some kids bypass the system, the majority will be protected, and that's still a win. How other countries are responding? Now, this is the most important question because a precedence has been set to protect the children. The world is watching Australia closely. Several countries have tried similar approaches, but none have gone this far. In the United States, some states introduced tough social media rules for minors, but many were blocked by courts due to concerns about privacy and freedom of expression. The United Kingdom has introduced strong online safety laws where tech companies can face huge fines and even criminal charges for executives if they fail to protect young users from harmful content. Many European countries have their own regulations too, but their approach is softer. They allow children to use social media if parents give permissions. That makes Australia decision stands out, right? Yeah. It is the first country to say, no, we are not allowing this at all. This is why governments, parents, tech companies, and online safety experts across the world are watching what happens next. Will the ban actually work? Yeah, that's the big question, and opinions are sharply divided. Those who support the ban says children need stronger protection. Algorithms expose them to harmful content. Cyberbullying can have lifelong impacts. Tech companies will only act if governments force them. This law could set a global standard. Those who oppose the ban says a complete ban is impossible to enforce perfectly. Kids will find ways around it, as mentioned earlier. It removes digital literacy opportunities. It could drive the children into more dangerous online spaces. It puts too much pressure on social media companies. Both sides make valid points, which is why this law is so controversial. What happens next? What Australia is doing now could become a blueprint for the rest of the world. If the ban reduces cyberbullying, exposure to harmful content, and mental health issues among the children, then other countries will of course might consider similar laws. But if it fails, if kids bypass it easily, as mentioned earlier, or if it leads to privacy problems as well, then other nations may hesitate them to implement. In short, the world is treating Australia as a test case. Whether this becomes a global trend or just a cautionary tale will absolutely depend on what happens over the next few months. In conclusion, Australia has taken a bold, controversial, and unprecedented step by banning all the social media for children under 16. The goal is simple: protect children from the harm. But the execution is highly complex. The technology is imperfect, and the potential consequences, both good and bad, are enormous. One thing is certain: this decision will influence global conversations about online safety, freedom, privacy, and the role of big tech in shaping the lives of the next generation. And as this story unfolds, the entire world will be watching. To check the latest news on business, tech, and global affairs, you can now go and log into our app, on our official app Relatezone. It's on Play Stores and App Stores. I'll be giving the link in the description box of this video. It's not only meant for consuming news, but you can make connections, meet new people, establish professional networking, also create posts and just searching the job. There are a lot of many things that go beyond any career building or news consumption app, and it's absolutely professional.